Today, it's time to freeze dry grapes. Hi, I'm Kylene and I'm the Provident Prepper. Today I found a killer deal on grapes at a local farmer's market. They were only 69 cents a pound. So what did I do? I bought an entire case. All of these grapes and a lot that Ben's already eaten cost only $13. So I'm super excited to see how well they freeze dry. So the first step was to wash the grapes really well. And then we could just pull them off and put them on the tray, but I'm a little bit afraid that they're not gonna freeze dry as quickly or that we might have issues. So Ben and I are going to cut all of them in half and fill up these trays. Okay, so Ben and I just spent the last hour cutting all of these grapes in half and placing them right side up on the tray. So I hope they turn out really good. We did have more grapes than we needed. And so we washed them and put them whole inside of these plastic bags. And we're gonna stick these into the freezer so that after these are done, we can just cut them in half and put them on a tray for another batch. Now, I'm going to be placing these into the freeze dryer just fresh, not frozen, for a couple reasons. The first is that we are having a big family event in a couple days and my freezer is full of food for the event, so there's no real room for the trays. But the second is that I'd really like to see how they turn out if we put them in while they're not frozen. So let's go put them in the freeze dryer. So we decided to do an experiment. In this tray right here, you can see that these are all facing up and done exactly like you're supposed to do them. We did that with these two trays. This one, they're all cut in half and they're split, but some of them are face up, some of them are face down. We'll see how that works. Now this one, we just cut all of the grapes in half. Some of them are still together and we just kind of move them around a little bit on the tray. So it'll be really interesting to see how these turn out. This is the tray where we just cut them in half and put them on here randomly. Some of them are actually still together, but this one is perfectly dry. But I did take one off of here that was still moist. The ones that are upside down, like this one was upside down, and it's still totally dry. So this is not the best way to do it, but overall, if you're willing to pick out the ones that are moist, most of these are pretty dry. This one, let me run this. This one where we did separate them, this one where we separated them, they're pretty dry. I really don't see much of a problem with it at all. So that kind of saves some time. Even the ones that are upside down are okay. So if you want to spend a lot of time doing it, do it just like that. If you want to do the good enough is perfect way, this method is just fine. This one might be a little bit more problematic.
One thing I have noticed is that the ones that are upside down like this one tend to stick on more than the others. The others just pop right off, but the ones that are upside down do tend to be a little more stuck on.
And so maybe it would be a good idea to use the silicone trays for this.
That would be a great idea.
We put these 2 bags of grapes that have been washed and destemmed into the freezer while the first batch of fresh grapes was in the freeze dryer. And so now these are all nice and frozen and we're just cutting them in half and putting them on the tray. Ben's job is to line them up because we want them to be face up so they'll freeze dry better. But I'm actually finding that it's easier to cut these while they're frozen than it was when they're fresh. And because we like the taste of the freeze-dried grapes so much, We went back today to see if we could find any more grapes for 69 cents a pound, and we did. So we're gonna try green grapes too. These were done a lot quicker than I thought they would be. And they look very different. They definitely didn't turn into raisins.
No, they still kept most of their shape. A little bit
that's
smaller.
really good. What do you think?
Yeah, they are. They're a little,
Definitely different than regular grapes,
a little more intense.
but they're kind of beautiful. So what we're gonna do is we are actually going to package more of these up to eat than normal because we have a big family event for this Easter weekend, and that way they can snack on them and see kind of like what they think. And in this jar, we had a really sweet neighbor who brought us over some homemade salsa. So we need to return the jar, and I think we'll return it full of freeze-dried grapes and see what they think.
So I just opened this package of these grapes that we stored about 2 months ago, and now we're going to see how they stored. They taste about how I remember them. They're still really good. And now for the question of the day. What is your favorite freeze-dried snack? Comment below, and thanks for being part of the solution.